why should I do intervals? And I usually tell the story when we come to that topic that a lady at this pool once stopped me and she said, "Look, swimming is the hardest thing. I think it's the how can I say it? It's the thing which is the most boring. I'm coming here, I swim my 2 kilometers and I go, and then she says she's a triathlete and running is much more interesting, and cycling as well. And then I asked her, how does she train her running sessions? And she says, yeah, I'm gonna go on, either I'm gonna do long runs or I'm gonna go on the track and do intervals there, fartlek, right? And I'm gonna spice it up a bit, and it's always exciting. And I said, well, there you have it. You tell me now that you go to the pool and you swim for 2Ks and tell me it is boring. You don't make any progress. That's also what she says. She didn't make any progress in the past. And on the running, she's so much better and it's more exciting, and so on and so forth. And then I usually say to her, or usually say when people come to me like that, I say, listen, you need to do intervals. Otherwise, it would be boring for me too if it's just one simple continuous swim every week 4 or 5 times, right? And so people usually neglect that. What is your opinion about that?
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, if you're not from a swimming background, so if you have been from a running background or a cycling background and you've got into triathlon, you don't really know where to start. And if, for example, you are taking part in, and set yourself a target of taking part in a long distance triathlon, an Ironman or a challenge event or whatever it might be, you think, okay, well, I've got to swim a long way. So how am I going to train for that? Mm-hmm. Well, I'll train by swimming a long way. That would be like the go-to approach for many people, not everybody, but many people. But then, as you've just touched on there, if you just plod up and down doing the same thing for half an hour, it is boring. Like nobody, not many people. Again, like we can't say everybody's the same, but for the majority of people, it would just get boring. And I mean, to be fair, that's probably why waterproof headphones were invented to try and get rid of some of the boredom and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But take out the boredom factor. If you just do the same thing every week or every session, there's only so many gains you can get. There's an upper limit of your improvement. Mm-hmm. Your body's going to get used to that exercise or that movement or that pace or whatever it might be. So this is why it's really important to split down that big chunk of training, that pool time, into intervals. Yeah. And that's what we do, right? So and when you are training for that long event, that long distance triathlon swim, some people might not think, well, one of the sessions I need to do is a block of 50s.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, why on earth would I need to do that? Yeah. But, you can take over from here because I know that when you train and when you're training for your long distance triathlon events, a lot of your sets are 50 based. So explain to the people listening why you would base one of your sessions at least a week on 50-meter turnarounds.
So yeah, I'm gonna go jump in at the beginning of what you said exactly. And one point you pointed out, you can only do so many gains if you only do it. Our bodies are creatures of habit. So if you do it over and over again, at some point the body will start to save energy and start to save the exertion which you have in a session, and then obviously go down. And if you would do and as explained there as well, like you did very well, the boredom, yes, but on the other hand, if you go 3 times a week, first week you do 1 kilometers, after 500 meters, the body says, I've done that for 500 meters. I don't need to exert myself anymore. I can save now. I go into a normal mode or in like a standby mode. And the next session you go again, you do again 1 kilometer, but after 200 meters, the body says that again. And the same thing would apply for the last day. And there it's even after the first 100 meters, the body goes back into standby, says, oh, I've done that on Monday, I've done it on Wednesday or on Tuesday, so I don't need to do more standby, and the exertion or the element of progress is limited to that. And that's why, for me, for example, it is, you need to get your body always or you need to have your body always under stress, some sort of, or you need to have your body always moving, so it can't get used to that. And if I would do this training of the 50s and the 100s, I would try to get the average time on 100 or on a 50 meter on each leg. I would try to increase to my best and have a little time to breathe or a little time to rest, so my body can, on the one hand, catch up, but it can also get into a progress mode. It can also learn how to swim faster, because a lot of times what the problem is with that people say, oh, I can't swim faster, or I don't get faster, is because the body doesn't know how to swim faster. How does it feel faster? And that's why you try to break down the whole. If you want to train for a 400 meter freestyle, for example, you try to break it down to 50s and the 100s, so you can increase the maximum speed on each level in this series or in this interval series, and so your body gets used to it. Ergo, on a competition, when you do this over and over again on a competition, you can bring it down to 1 point and swim a faster average without the breaks, without the times when you rest, and that is actually the goal ultimately.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to pick up on a few things you said there. Like, so you have to put your body into the position where it's under stress to improve. Like, if your body is not under any stress, then you're not going to make the gains that you want. So let's go and quote Captain Matthew Webb, that was the first known person to swim the channel, right? He said, nothing great is easy. So if you just plod, if you just swim up and down and don't put your body under the stress, then you're not going to achieve anything great. And talking of intervals and practicing under that kind of pressure, I'm going to tell you what I did yesterday for my swim. The whole of the main set was only 400 meters.
Oh wow!
So because like one of the things is that I see, and I've been involved in coaching since 2006. You can't just get fit through training. You need to race fit. Like if you want to really sharpen up and you want to get your body into that position where it can respond to the stress, respond to the pressure, and perform when you need it to perform, you need to practice under like a race environment and that kind of thing. So when I'm training for a competition, or when I'm getting some of my athletes to train for competitions, I get them to go out and race. And even during heavy loads of training, when they're in big blocks of training, I will get them to go and race tired, because there's just nothing like racing. So we basically simulated that yesterday. Like, I'm not in any great shape right now, and I've got targets for later on in the year. But the 400 set that we did yesterday was 4 100s, absolutely max effort, all out on 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So for anyone that doesn't quite understand that, so we started, for example, on the top of the hour, and we absolutely maxed out 100 meters. And then 10 past the hour, we hit the next 100 max. 20 past the hour, the next 100 max. And then finally, we did the final one on the 40th minute. So there's loads of rest between. It was up to us how we used that 10 minutes. So after the maxed effort, some of us, I was dying on the side of the pool. And then when I finally got my breath back, I did a bit of active recovery.
Yeah.
Okay. So active recovery is always really good and beneficial as well, to get rid of that lactic and that acid buildup from that burn.
Yeah.
We hate that burn feeling, but we love it. So after you.
And this is actually a good point which you pick up. So the one element of intervals is you need to get your level of speed up, and you need to train yourself. You shouldn't get your body into a rest mode, and you shouldn't get your body in but you should still challenge yourself. So I've this max out. I would only do up to 400 meters. I would never do it beyond that. I would never do 8 times or 3 times 800 meter or 2 times 1500 meter. I would never do that personally for me, because I don't see it there. But when it comes to 400 meter and below, then you can do it. I mean, it depends on what is your goal and whatsoever. And yes, you bring a good point. You want to get into this feeling, and this is something which I guess is from my training or my training background slightly different, which I could have done a bit more, just to also get while we're talking about this, get also feedback for ourselves, so we could actually increase or change our habits to something which we've never done before. I guess you have never done so many intervals or so many short intervals for a longer. If you trained for 800 meter or 1500 meter, you've never done so many 50s or 200 or 50s or 100 meters in your life. You have done maybe more a longer distance, and so for me, it's more used to the smaller. What our coach usually used to say was, rather do quality versus quantity, a lot of these kind of things. And then I have another coach which said quantity over quality. It's a mixture of both, so you should have both kinds of interval. I think you should still have, let's say, 80% in the intervals which I would do, the 50s and the 100s and max 200s, but then also the all out intervals which you say, every 10 minutes you go for a 400 meter. So I would combine it, I guess.
Yeah, it's finding that sweet spot. And the thing is, it's all individual approach. So everybody's got a different background. Everybody's got a different ability in the pool. Everybody's got different goals. Some people might be training for sprint triathlons. So, for example, they would do sometimes some of the super sprint triathlons are only 250 meters. Others are 400, or you could do 1500, or you could swim the full long distance triathlon. But you're right, it's all about splitting up. And I'm just going to quickly show you. This is what you have created, right?
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm going to show you, hold on. This is what you've created, right? Long distance, here we go. But if we just go into this page here, you can see, we might have to cut to it, but you can see how you split up your training.
Yeah.
Okay. And how you suggest to split it up. So there's different phases, there's different intensities and that kind of thing. So this is why this kind of thing is important to consider when we're training. Yeah. So the other things that I wanted to pick up on about why intervals are so important is because if you are just plodding up and down at the same pace for a long period of time, you're going to get tired. Yeah. Your body is naturally going to get tired. When you start, eventually you're going to build up your endurance, but only to that limit that you can achieve by just plodding up and down. To start with, if you plodding up and down for a long period of time, your form is going to go to pot. You're going to lose all of your technique because you're going to end up slogging up and down.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is why interval training is really important, and I'll let you talk about that again in a minute. So that's the first thing. Interval training, you can have the breather, so you can do the 100s or up to 400s or whatever, then have a period of recovery and then go again. That way you can maintain your form, and obviously form, efficiency, technique is all very important for fast swimming. And then the other thing that some people have said to me who are triathletes that are swimming long distance triathlon events, or they're master swimmers that want to swim the channel, for example, they ask me, why is it important to train and practice sprint training or short 50-meter bursts or whatever? So let's pick up the triathletes that are doing a long distance triathlon. They're asking me, why should we train 50s? What's the purpose of that? So you've covered some aspects there, but one aspect to think about as well for them is if it was a mass start competition, you're going to be absolutely surrounded in waves and wash and people pulling you, even though they're not supposed to. People do that, swimming over the top of you. You might get an elbow in the face. There are some nasty injuries in the mass starts. Elbows on goggles that you literally, people get black eyes from this. So why is it important to have that ability to be able to find that extra gear and to be able to sprint? Well, it's going to take you to the front of the pack.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be in the wash.
Yeah.
You can then focus on your swimming. You can focus on your technique, which is going to obviously improve your efficiency, your form, and you're going to conserve energy for the rest of the triathlon event. So it's important if you're in a mass participation start, to get out to the front, or even if it's not right at the front, just to get somewhere away from that mad scramble in the middle where you're literally fighting for your life to not drown. So yeah, over to you.
It's exactly that. So I guess when it comes to the intervals versus just swimming for a K or 2, or why are intervals so important? Just to come back to that and to maybe conclude some of the things we both said. Intervals are important for being able to create growth, so your body doesn't get used to something, doesn't turn off, go into standby. So you try to increase your 100%. So you go always a bit above the 100%, and therefore you want to have shorter intervals as well as longer intervals. So it's one is the growth of us itself. The second thing is on a breakdown of in an interval of, let's say, a 400 meter. Your body gets used to speed, to swim at the desired speed. And if you do a 400 meter or 10 times 100 meter and you swim, your best time on a 400 meter was 4:40, and now you want to do 4:30. This way you can easily set your target 100 time or the 50 time split and be able to swim it, and actually your body gets used to that speed. So when it comes to the competition, you are there. So that will be more for the pool and to increase. That will be more for masters, for swimmers, for competition swimmers in a pool. When it comes to open water swimmers and triathletes, it's important to have, on the one hand, the basis, so you have a ground speed that you get out, and have an extra speed or actually the ability to speed up and slow down and get into the rhythm, so you get out of the scrum at the beginning of a triathlon or at an open water race, that you can actually speed up, get away from the pack, and then get into your mood. Even if that is a bit fast, just a bit faster than the whole group there, but you are ahead and you can swim your pace and your speed. And I think that is very important. Problem though is, and this leads me actually to the book which you showed, from which we created together, the trainings book, with the phases on, and I think we need to speak about that in a different video as well. I already have a YouTube video up on my channel where it actually discusses the different phases, and I think we will have another discussion about that in a separate call. But bringing it, a lot of people don't know what to do at the pool, and therefore they either have a chance to go to a team which helps them to swim in a team, they have a coach which does the thinking for them, gives them the sets and does the intervals, so the coach is in the focus. And if you don't have that, how else will you get it? There is many apps out there. Problem is, you will either have it always on as much paper, or you need to memorize it, and therefore I like the book which we created together, where you actually have a guidance, a good guidance. And it's not only this book; it's also the other books which you have, or which scale.
You mean these ones?
Yes, these ones. It's also these ones.
These.
Yes.
Yes.
It's actually these ones. Which give you guidance or an idea of how it should look. And so if you forget about it, or if your paper is smudged or something, this way they're waterproofed, so you can take them to the pool, you can stand them there, and also pick out different versions. I mean, on the one hand, the book itself is a guidance through the phase, but also it gives you guidance on a set itself. So you do actually interval sets if you don't know what actually you need to do. And I think that is the jumping point. So intervals, yes, rather than that, but also they don't have guidance. And I think your book, like the scale swimming books, are a very good help, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of you to say, thank you. Yeah, and that's the thing. Everybody these days seems to be busier.
Yeah.
Like there's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people there's some great services online where you could basically ask a coach to send you your set, and I know loads of people use that, and it's really effective. But what we kept on seeing is that people were then getting the sets delivered to their phone or their email, and then they were writing them out themselves. So that's taking time. And, you know, people came up with some great solutions of writing them or photocopying them or whatever. But again, not everybody's got access to these facilities. It's all time and effort. And that's why, you know, Johnny and I at Scale Swimming and yourself, we collaborated with a long distance triathlon event book. And it just takes out an aspect or a burden that we don't, you know, a lot of people don't have time to do. It's literally you turn up to the pool, open the book, and follow a set. It's literally that simple. Now, I mean, what I like about these books as well, look how clear they are. You know, it's very easy to read, really clear, and we got rid of loads of the abbreviations, acronyms, and that kind of thing, and just simplified stuff. Right? Again. Sometimes I've read sets that people have been given, and I'm like what even does that mean? Like, it's really hard to follow. And again, we don't want people to then have to think, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? It's literally open a book up and off you go. Like, really simplify things, but get maximum gains.
Yeah, exactly. I think to actually to conclude this call, if you have this person who asks me, like I said at the beginning of the call, this person comes to me and says, "Oh, it's boring to swim." You need to always assume that this person doesn't know so much about swimming, or maybe she doesn't, and then how you change that. Either, as I said, you send her to a coach, and then she's happy there. Maybe she can't do it because we need to train whenever we can train. We are busy lives and whatsoever, so that might not work for you, and then you need to have somehow guidance. How do you get it? You can read up on the internet and whatsoever. Here you have a guidance book, which you can, as you said, you take it out, you put it into your next to the pool, and you can reuse it every time you go to the pool. You have it in your bag, and this is what Scale Swimming stands for. It's simplicity, it's easy, and it gets a consensus of which is available to the masses in as such. I mean, not everyone can have the knowledge like I have or like you have about it, and so yes. If she comes now to me, I would always go back and say, look, here's the book. Look up here. Try some of these sets. This is in the phase 1. Phase 2 comes out next. Phase 3 is also in the making. And then afterwards, you can have a really nice training plan for your competition, which is there. And you can use it over and over again. And it's less boring, or it's not boring at all. And they see the joy. There is not boring at all. They see the joy like I have, and I think this is it for my side for this call. I think.
Yeah. No. Do you know what? Like, really valid points that you just make there, and you know, let's use the book that you created with us as an example. You've got like 11 sets in there, but once somebody's completed those sets, you can tailor them. Like these are basically used to inspire people. People that, for example, can't hit all of the turnaround times that you've got in the book, or maybe not even make the full distance of the set. You can half it. You third it. You can do whatever you want. You could follow and tailor to your specific ability, and that's what's the beauty of it. It's a starting point, and it just. I think that the key thing is it just removes lots of burdens that people have to do. Is that it can just be used to literally take out your bag and stick it on the pool side and off you go. Like nobody wants to waste their time and effort in writing out a set, or you know, they might be they might have hired a triathlon coach, or you know, there are services online where you can buy the sets, but then what do you do with them? Like, not everybody's got a smartwatch. Not everybody wants to take and risk taking their phone or their tablet to the poolside. So this is a really kind of great solution to offer the guidance, because of your expertise. You've competed in several long distance triathlons. You've had an illustrious swimming career, so you know what you're talking about, and you're offering your expertise in training for these types of events, and you've basically put them in this book, which is we're really grateful for. So thank you.
No, I will. Thank you for letting me do that. And as I said, it's a good product as such. So in the end, So let's conclude this topic for now. I think we will have other calls and other talks about other topics. Maybe also chat into that topic again as well, or touch it again. And thank you very much for this.